So I just went to brunch with a couple of my homegirls after church, and there were 5 of us. 4 of us were black, 1 was white. And the 4 of us black girls were single, and the white girl is in a happy, healthy, thriving relationship. Her partner is Hispanic, and they have been dating for a few months now, but like the normal progression: met, hit it off, went on a few dates, got in a relationship, long distance right now, meeting parents soon. Like the normal. Okay. No gray, no limbo, no nothing like that. And then me and all my black homegirls are talking about our relationship status, and all of us are
single as hell.
All of us are single.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay.
All of us are like actively dating, some more active than others. But nonetheless, single. But then we're kind of telling the stories of like the guys that we're talking to or have gone on recent dates with. And like these struggle stories are insane. And for reference, we're all in between 27 and 29, maybe 30. Why is this the commonality with me and all my black girls?
What?
Like faithfully. Not just this group of black girls, but like so many. My closest friends, my black girlies that I've met on assignments, out, like all my black girlies that exclusively date black men are on a struggle bus. And a part of me is like, just get off the bus, date other races, start dating any other race. And there is something in my stomach that immediately just gets sick at that thought. I want black love. I once read this article, and it was saying how black women need to start dating outside of their race because it's not working. Like, it broke down all these statistics and all these things. And I did a poll on my Instagram story. Like, would you rather date down or date down within your race? So date down with a black man. So, you know, let go of some of your non-negotiables, a man that makes less than you, a man that like, whatever your non-negotiables are, date down from those, or date white. And a majority of black women said they would rather date down. And I'm like, what is the chokehold? I'm asking myself, what is the chokehold? Like, I myself would rather date down than date outside of my race. And
first off, I don't give a shit who you date. I'm not Dr. Umar. I'm MTR.
I beg your pardon?
What does MTR say? Date whoever makes you the most happy. But the reason why I paused the video, I find it hilarious, this conversation about dating down. It actually reminded me of a video that I did 3 or so years ago regarding a woman who was called out for talking about dating down.
Many women say they are finding it very hard to find a man who makes as much as they do. And this is changing the age-old mentality that men are the breadwinners. And researchers say they are seeing a trend of women dating down, which means, you know, a man who...
dating down.
So women, you know, we're more educated now. And so with that being said, we're going to hold off on the baby making. We're going to hold off until we get that great job, really career driven. And I don't think there's anything wrong with hoping that there's someone either on your level or higher than you.
So before, right, it was okay when the man made more money to be the one to buy everything, to do, you know, treat you and all this other kind of stuff. And now that you make more money, you can't be that one because you're dating down.
I hate So the implicit assumption of all of this is that men have always dated down the entire history of mankind, but now that women have evened out their salary with men, it is now a problem that they are dating down. Well, why make all of this effort to make the same amount of money if this is going to be your relationship conclusion anyway? Why is dating down considered strictly monetary and not regarding the morality, the standards, the opinions of that man? I find it hilarious how these women will sequester themselves into singleness, into infinity, because they make a certain amount of money and are unwilling to date down. Why is dating down only monetary? This man can have way more experience. He's damn sure stronger than you, so he can twist off caps to jars and petty little shit like that. Even though he might make less money than you, he might be morally better than you. He might be wiser or just more intelligent in general. He's had more experience in leading, perhaps. You know, whatever. I can go into infinity talking about how a person can be better than another person, but the materialism that surrounds a lot of these Western-based women is just around money.
If you wanted to make more money,
Right.
you know, are you going to find many men out there that makes as much as you do?
And my point is, so now you're going to, because we hear so much about women that are like, oh, there's nobody out there, there's no one out there, I can't find love, I'm getting too old. Now you're going to sacrifice the fact that you could find that love because the man's not making that much money?
Right. Look at the complete and utter sadness that hits her face when the reality of why she does not have a ring on her finger comes true. But the hilarious thing about all of this is that black men are still making more money on average than black women. This is according to blackdemographics.com, and you'll see that in the ages of 20 to 54 years old, men are still making on average more money than women. It's less than the all-race counterparts for a variety of reasons, but this is facts. They are more educated, but they're still not making more money. Which brings us back to the logical conclusion is that it's not the men, it's you. What is it about your standards, your requirements, or your perception of what a black man is or is supposed to be, which is not enabling you to think that they are worthy of you? What's hilarious about this is that when I do pop the balloon after pop the balloon, and you're watching these women, in reality, left swipe on dudes that amongst other races of women would absolutely swipe right on, you will begin to understand a component of the problem. Well, let's see what more she has to say.
I myself would rather date down than date outside of my race. And it's just so frustrating. It's so frustrating. I wish I had more to say than that. I am very frustrated with dating at this point, and I get the girlies that are like decenter men and focus on your relationship with God and focus on your friendships and da-da-da-da-da. And that's what my 20s has been all about. My friends, traveling, catching a flight, doing whatever I want to do, spending money willy-nilly. Like, that's what I do. Like, y'all not trying to come home to the same person every day? Y'all not trying to fold his laundry? Y'all not trying to cook dinner? Y'all not trying to go to Pilates after you make your kids lunch? Oh, we got different goals.
Sounds like you need to open up your horizon, ma'am. A couple of months ago, I was asked by one of my boxing friends, hey, do you want to go out to eat at this restaurant? He brought some of his other friends, happened to be a couple of women that are there as well. One of the women was in this grad degree program, master, right? And, after she graduates, probably be making, $150,000 doing the damn thing. She was similar to this woman right here in saying that it's so hard to date out here. I can't find anybody that's equally yoked, right? And of course, the idea that she's gone on an education path that's going to put her in the top 10-ish% of income earners, she would then be looking at the top 9% of male income earners within her option set. Now, the problem that she doesn't really recognize, but I do as being a man, is that she is morbidly obese, grossly overweight, and because of that, her facial aesthetics greatly suffer, and her hair looked like it was brittle, looked like it was about to break off. So she's got some major image things that she needs to undertake. She's looking for the top 9% of men. Meanwhile, the top 9% of men is not looking for her. And she doesn't get that. She thinks because she makes a large amount of money, she is owed a guy that makes also a large amount of money. It's one of the major fallacies that I see modern women believing in today, and I see it occurring as much, if not more often, than women that believe that as a woman misconstruing a man's advances as to her being a high product in the marriage or the dating marketplace. No, you could be high in the sexual marketplace, and that's the reason why so many men are hitting you up in your DMs. Meanwhile, none of these dudes will want to retain you. But nevertheless, this woman is trying to still date black men, but there's a subsection, if you will, a cult of other types of women that have given up.
I already know y'all are going to cause a fit and be displeased and be upset and blah, 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 but I really don't care. So here's the message. If you're a black woman, especially if you're a bigger or heavier black woman and you want to be treated, it's really time you drop the black love fantasy and start considering dating other men. Because most black men are not that guy.
The big girls, the bigums, the big backs, if you will, are going to have the most trouble crossing into other races. Say whatever you want to convince these women in an attempt to build up your dusty-ass platform. Let's keep going.
They are not the guy who's going to protect you, care about you, treat you like a lady. They're going to workhorse you, run you into the ground, get you upset, make you argue, make you curse them out for little stuff. expand your horizons, because these men are not that guy.
Sounds like you're monumentally bitter, ma'am. With comments like that, it makes me think that you would look much better in a straitjacket. Nevertheless, I don't think that it is very high intelligent to put all black men in a box as if you speak for them. But go off, queen. Meanwhile, all you're doing is justifying how you're trash because like attracts like. If you've attracted ain't shit, you are, more often than not, ain't shit your damn self.
I don't know that this idea of build up a man, stick by your man, or even this idea of black love being encouraged was ever that you should marry the nigga on the porch. That you should marry Rudy or Bobby who be out on the corner slinging heroin. That you should be even hanging out with the niggas in the juke joint. You should be...
Listen, ma'am, of the unmarriageable modern women, they're not being married by those types of men. They're just having sex with them. It's a big difference there. Let's keep going.
Looking at the young man who comes to church every Sunday and then every Monday is in his blue work uniform, ready to go down to the plant and do his job.
That's too boring for them. I'm sure that those types of men are in the DMs of like the first girl that we reviewed, but he's in his blue work uniform, utilizing his blue collar hands in order to get the job done. They don't respect those types of men. And some of those men make more money than they do. But media has built up in their minds this ideal picture of what a black man is. So although you're saying it, are you currently married to the man that you're talking about?
And who's bringing home a good, respectable living? Is that marrying down? It's not marrying up, right? But it is not marrying down.
Again, on this marrying up stuff, only considering the quantity within his bank account and not the quality of the particular man.
Black women are in a state right now where it is up for us, okay? If you want a man that is maybe a high earner or a man that is, I don't know, a CEO, etc., your pickings are very slim.
This is so ridiculous. CEO, high earner, for real? Is that the only lens that you see men in, is what they can do for you from things that they have in their bank account? Are you that so lustful for power, money, and status through your man that you don't see the other, literally 20 million others that exist? Absurd.
Okay, so a lot of black women, we don't necessarily date out because we want to like white men or anything like that. It's sort of like out of necessity. So when I'm listening to this conversation, I hear it, I understand it, I live it, of course. But I also kind of feel like we have to present black women with another option. Wow. Because
we just need them CEOs and them high goddamn earners. There's just not enough of them to go around if they're blah. So let's go somewhere else. It's wild to me that these men just sit here and just allow her to espouse this bullshit without any type of verbal response. It's absurd.
There's the community aspect, like living as a black person, and then it's taking care of yourself as a woman. What are you going to choose first? Are you going to sit back and let the stories of how white people do this and this and this and that keep you single?
It's actually crazy how often that we see these delusional standards being communicated as if it's the norm. Again, with little to no pushback, yet failing to understand that these cookie cutter caricatures that they've created in their mind, right? Like they want CEO ghost from power, is leading some men to turn their back on them.
Most dudes that I know who date outside their race, outside of our black race, were looked at as lames in the black community. Yeah. It wasn't a situation where it's like, okay, now I grew up aspiring to be with a white woman. What the story is typically I grew up, I was in my black neighborhood, I didn't fit in, the women didn't want me, I would shoot my shot, and they would curve me over and over and over again. But then when I went to talk to this white girl, she was vibing with me, and we just picked it up and then went from there. So now I date white women now. But it's not a situation where it's like, oh, no, I was bred, I was taught since young, and oh, no, I want to be the white woman. Black woman, hell no, I'm good. Now, when the same dude, that nerd, who was lame in the neighborhood, you wasn't given no opportunity, hell no, I don't want to go on no date. Just get away from me, da, da, da. The same dude 15 years later is a multimillionaire. And now he's dating a white woman, and you looking at him like, oh, it's sold out.
Imagine demonizing a certain type of man when younger, and then after you're done living out your roaring 20s, you want to go back later and complain that type of man no longer wants you. While you cry from the mountaintops, there's nothing out here for me. Now I just got to date down. Now, as I talk through all of this, I know that not all. I know that there's a minority of women that absolutely get it. The problem is that they're generally referred to as pick-me's, right? Or MTRs, but they absolutely get it. They absolutely understand. They don't value a man solely based off of being able to date up because money is the only thing that is important to them, but they're looking at the content of his character and judging as such. They more accurately understand where they're placed within the dating or the marriageable marketplace, while also not shitting on our blue-collar savages because their jobs are just not as sexy as a guy who sits in a cubicle. Meanwhile, there's cubicle guys that I know that make far less than some of these blue-collar savages. But all right, guys, that's it for today's video. Tell me what you guys think. Leave it down in the comment box down below, whether or not you agree with me or you disagree with me. And then, guys, let me know. Maybe this is something we could bring up for a live stream to have group discussions on. I could bring some folks up on a panel and we could pop off regarding these very important topics. But that has been your video. And I have been your host, your gracious host, Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews. And until next time, YouTube, peace.